Hey ladies and gentlemen, it's Blitzer back with another video. Man, this streak of posts has been so irritating for me, both to make and review. I saw the comments from my last post about the Fallout X COD event, like the last video, and let me tell you, I got some responses from people. Honestly, they're disappointed in the state of the franchise like I am, and then there's the people who, let's just say, disagree with me. Honestly, I love the feedback and what you guys have to say about what is going on. I've heard some great takes and opinions from people, both negative and positive. Today's video, however, will be about one thing and one thing in particular. Do multiplayer games have an identity? Now, before we get into things, I just want to say thank you for at one point having 152 subs before it went back down to 149. I still thank you guys who are still here, and I really hope you guys can help me get to 500 subs by May. So if you want to help out the channel, if you're a new person, please make sure to like and subscribe, because if you like, it helps out the algorithm and everything like that. I'll probably repeat myself later at the end of the video, but just reminding you guys. So, back to the video. It may seem like an easy question to answer, and some of us already know the answer. Does a game really have an identity? However, the idea for this video comes from a comment I got from the Fallout X COD video I did 9 or so days ago, like a week ago. Not going to point fingers, but I'll just read out here. It's a doozy, so just bear with me. It's going to be a yap fest. Multiplayer games don't have an identity. They exist to sell. They exist to sell you microtransactions. They exist to sell you microtransactions and post-launch content. How do you expect for them to make money if they're not making cool skins? They can't make cool skins because you guys want to limit them. You guys want to tie their hands behind their back. Do not sell as well as crossover skins in Call of Duty. It's fact. Just wait. There's more. Oh, get over yourself. Crossovers are here to stay. There's a reason why Fortnite is #1. They have the most crossovers in the history of gaming. That's why gaming should be this constant crossovers. It's fun to have characters you like in other games. I don't know why you guys trying to ruin Call of Duty with your realism nonsense. Holy mother of yap. Anyways, let's just unpack this piece by piece. You guys can say whatever you want in the comments. No hate to this guy, by the way. Video games, and like in particular multiplayer games, absolutely do have an identity. They always have. Identity is the reason people fell in love with franchises like Call of Duty, Battlefield, Halo, Counter-Strike, Gmod, and early Fortnite. Identity is the reason those games stood out in the first place. And if multiplayer games truly existed only to sell, then none of these franchises would have survived long enough to even get microtransactions added later. The argument that games exist only to sell skins is backwards. They sell skins because people are already invested. No one buys cosmetics for a game they do not care about. Obviously. No one spends money on a world that doesn't feel coherent, grounded, or intentional. Monetization is not the foundation. Identity is. When someone says multiplayer games don't have an identity, what they're really saying is that they accepted a corporate vision of gaming where creativity comes second to engagement metrics. That mindset treats players like wallets instead of participants in a wider experience. That's not realism nonsense, that's basic respect for the medium. And let's talk about Fortnite for a second, alright? Because this always comes up. Fortnite was built from the ground up as a crossover platform. Sure, maybe from Season 1 to Season 4, maybe even later until Chapter 2, it was more of its own original thing. But I kind of felt like it always would do a crossover here and there. You know, it feels like it. Its art style, its tone, its narrative are flexible by design. Call of Duty, however, is not. Call of Duty has built its legacy on grounded military fiction. You have these bombastic, heroic moments in Modern Warfare 2 that still feel like a military shooter. World at War. Do we even need to think about World at War? It itself is a war shooter. You can just, it's World at War. COD 4, freaking Black Ops 1, more of its like Cold War espionage. Freaking, what is it? Cold War, with its Vietnam missions. I mean, It's specific tones, it's specific eras, and a specific atmosphere. Those differences matter. Pretending that they don't is either ignorance or willful denial. Crossovers aren't the problem, though, but context is. If everything belongs everywhere, then nothing feels special anymore. Escapism dies when the world stops making sense. A game stops being a world and starts being a billboard. Because video games are one of the last mediums where people can escape a world that already feels corporate, artificial, and manufactured, dark. Saying get over yourself, this is how games make money, is basically admitting you're fine with creativity being replaced with optimization. That's surrendering to the freaking enemy, dude. Do you hear yourself? Now look, right? You can enjoy crossovers and still acknowledge that identity matters. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. The problem starts when profit becomes the only justification for a means of the quality of the game, and criticism is dismissed as nostalgia or realism whining. Like you think I am right now with trying to make thing that Call of Duty is supposed to be realistic. It's never been realistic to the T like Hell Let Loose or Arma, but it was always supposed to have this military mentality, you know? You were a soldier in a war. Sure, you have these bombastic moments. Every COD does. It keeps you attracted to it, but like it had the military aesthetic to it, and it doesn't now. Now, that's not how art survives either. That's how it gets hollowed out and forgotten over time. I cared a lot. I care a lot about identity in games, right? As you can tell, COD is to me the biggest example of how a profit-only system destroys what identity and culture a game has. COD went from the trendsetter to the trend chaser. Games used to copy COD. Games like Halo 4 and its multiplayer, Killzone 2 and its multiplayer, although not as Call of Duty as Halo 4, it took some like creative liberties with how you customize your loadouts and stuff like that in the multiplayer. Classes multiplayer loadout, same thing. And there's also these games like Roblox and its like shooter games that try to do something like Call of Duty, like Phantom Forces, Battlefield with its TDM mode. The list goes on. But now the franchise is dead or on its last legs because we let it happen. We, as our consumers, chose familiarity over boldness and nuance, and threw away a meaningful identity for cool skins. And to be honest with you, I really hope you see me, or you see me halfway, or at least I hope you see where me and many others come from. But thank you for sharing your thoughts. But this really means a lot to me. Like many of you who have been watching my videos for a while know, I despise operators in COD and have since 2019. Modern Warfare, that year, they chose to get rid of identity of old COD that made it so fun to play and socialize with people and make it a profit-based experience that takes the soulless husk of Call of Duty and make it a profit-based experience that rewards people who pay $20 a season for a skin they'll forget in like 2 weeks. I'm fine with a gun blueprint, you know, like because they look cool. Some of them look really cool, but it can take away from the military aesthetic of COD, which has been around since 2003 when the first game came out, to some extent or more. This isn't a COD slander video, but I just wanted to put it out there that operators only exist as stealth skins, not to make the experience better. Let's go on to another comment. So this comment isn't really a big deal, so I'm just gonna say something a little short here. Why are you complaining about BO7 playing BO6? Laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji. Well, because it's a new game, and people tend to somehow only care about watching newer titles, not ones released 10 years ago. Believe me, I cherish those games more than BO6 and 7. Don't you dare think about it. However, nostalgia alone cannot keep a franchise afloat. And the current algorithm and attention is all around the newer games, even though they may be mediocre. And I'm playing zombies. To me, the only good thing about BO6 and not the multiplayer campaign. Engaging with something doesn't cancel the right to critique it.
Throwing Semtex.
So, here's the last comment I'll be reviewing. The other comment I get sometimes is from the older folk who condescend on me because I was too young, quote unquote, when something happened. What I don't understand is why people actually think that those games back then have changed significantly over the years. Say, let's take Black Ops 1, when in reality it hasn't changed since the year after its release. BO1 has always been the same game after 2010, and I grew up with the same game that they left in the state it had been since 2011. The only thing that you could say really changed was the lower player counts, and even then, I grew up on those games. I maybe don't understand the vibe of the game back then. Yeah, correct, but the game itself hasn't changed, and especially the community. I still I still hear people saying racial slurs on the multiplayer. I still have sweats to fight against on the multiplayer. I still unlock everything as if it just came out on the multiplayer. Nothing has changed. Just the players aren't as numerous. So what? Boo-hoo. Like, it makes me really mad because it's in every one of these videos where there's always some dude who's like, you weren't there, you don't understand this, you don't know anything, you're dumb, you're young, you're always gonna have haters. I'm just gonna say that for any new YouTubers. You're always gonna have these haters that just hate you for no reason. Or if they don't even hate you and they just critiquing you, you're like, oh, but you don't understand. Back in the day, this and this. Maybe the tone is different. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you're always gonna have people that critique your videos. And it's kind of it's rich because I asked them to do that. I asked them to give me feedback, and I don't care if it's positive or negative. I still like it. I'm gonna respond to it regardless if it's good or not because it matters to me. It builds a community. You may not like me, you may hate my guts. I don't care. I'm still gonna make this video. You're not gonna tear me down because I wasn't there 3,000 years ago when the dinosaurs were walking around. I'm so sorry, Grandpa. How about you go take your freaking sleeping pills, okay? So I know I said I'm not putting more comments in after this last one, but it's not. Another comment I had read, and it was a yap fest, more so than the comment I read first. They were critiquing in my Battlefield 6 video how I wasn't there to experience these technical terms for like missiles and tow missiles and guns and balancing and the beta 24-2 and blah blah blah. I wasn't there to experience jack crap, and how I'm wrong about how Battlefield 24-2 is good apparently because it's just so inherently wrong, and I'm just factually incorrect because of its sold numbers or sales numbers. Even though sales numbers don't determine if a game is good or not to people. Their experience is what determines if a game is good. Alright, asshole? I can say a game is great. That's what I think. You may not believe that. But I do. I like 24-2. I don't hate the game. Do I hate some of the players? Yeah. There's always going to be terrible players on each game that just think they're good and they're just going to sweat on you. I mean, Warzone is the same exact way. I play Warzone every single day I can, and let's just say it's not very friendly for a casual. On the casual playlist. And let me just say something. In the casual playlist, I'm not always fighting against people who are like bots. There's bots, right? But it's not always bots. There's always the sweats who think they're not good, so they go to casual to even think about getting one kill. They, instead of playing the normal game where they have the skill to do it, they just want to get easy kills and go in casual to stomp people. It's not fair to people who are not as good as other people in the game. It's not fair at all. They're not doing anything to fix that balancing issue. Anyways, where was I? But 24-2 isn't bad. It's not a bad game. They tried to do something with what little time they had during the pandemic, but sales numbers don't determine a game's quality. Sure, you might be like, well, no one bought it, so it's bad. Sure, yeah, it made no money. Who cares? It's still a good game. Do you think Among Us sold good? Do you think Plants vs. Zombies sold good? Do you think freaking, what was it, Fallout New Vegas sold as good as Fallout 3 when it came out? No, because everyone didn't like it when they played it. They thought it was too complex compared to Fallout 3. But after they fixed it, everybody started loving it. That's not all based off of sales numbers, my guy. That's based off the core experience of the player base. People don't like Vanguard. I don't mind Vanguard. It didn't sell good, so it's not a good game. Do you hear how stupid your argument is? And I get it. I love all the controversial games because I want to make you mad. But I don't really care. I think they're really good games. I don't think they're really good. I think they're okay games. I still play them from time to time. All right. Disclaimer. Just want to make that clear. But it just really makes me mad. And they're like, at least take off the rose-tinted glasses off your ass before making this video. Blah 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 blah. Rose-tinted glasses, my guy. I'm not freaking 80 years old thinking back on the past like it was Vietnam. I'm not thinking back on this crap like it was. I play these games as of current. All right. These aren't rose-tinted glasses. This is my core experience. No, what he said about 2042 really pissed me off. He's like, well, you said 2042 was a good video back then, but it's factually incorrect because blah blah blah. It's factually incorrect because actually... Freaking nerd, shut up, you freaking nerd emoji. It's funny. It's really funny. Oh, it makes me really pissed, but I'm happy, alright? I'm happy and pissed. I'm happiest. I'm happiest. It's a word. Happiest. I'm happy and pissed. I'm happy, but I'm also pissed. Now, with that being said, another thing I've been experiencing is a lot of people that have been either agreeing with my takes or just acknowledging them. You know, like they're like, oh, small YouTube creator, I support you. Or, yeah, I would never imagine X and Y happening in Call of Duty. I would never, like, Call of Duty fell off after Black Ops 3. Call of Duty fell off after Infinite Warfare. Call of Duty, no one says that, but Call of Duty fell off after freaking Cold War. They always, like, they don't necessarily agree with me, but they just say what they think. They're not criticizing me, but they're just putting what they think out there. And honestly, I agree with a lot of them. I think, in a lot of ways, Call of Duty fell off at different points and rised back up and then fell off again. I don't think it just fell off and kept getting worse. I think it fell off, built back up, fell off, got back up, fell off, got back up, fell off. That's where we are right now. I mean, we are at the fall off right now. It could build back up, but the damage is already done and the game is basically on its last legs. More so than it was in 2018, before 2019 came out. Back then, Call of Duty, from what I did know, was not as good as it was during Modern Warfare 2 to Black Ops 2 days. Because it was starting to lose its identity as a shooter. Which is a thing with this video. The game industry has been losing its identity. Call of Duty has lost its identity years ago to a lot of people. Some people say it did when Black Ops 3 came out. On one of my comments, that's what a commenter said. That it lost its identity after Black Ops 3 came out. Because the campaign was dog crap. It wasn't the best, I'll tell you that. I don't think it was terrible. I think it was just too confusing for a lot of people. They were too ambitious with the campaign. And not in a good way. You know what I mean? But that was the last game Treyarch made. And then everything was Raven. Everything, like, game development was Raven with Treyarch oversight. Black Ops 7 was the first real game that Treyarch actually worked on. Not Black Ops 6. Black Ops 7. The game right after Black Ops 6. The only thing I'm hopeful for is Sledgehammer. That's all I'm hopeful for. I'm a little hopeful for Infinity Ward with Modern Warfare 4, but I'm scared it'll be another Modern Warfare 3 or 2, where everybody will hate it, and then it'll become good later in its life cycle, which isn't good. It's supposed to be good day one. You're supposed to make a full product that's enjoyed by a lot of people day one. That is the goal. You might not make that goal, but make it damn well near close to it, because that matters a lot. People need an authentic experience that is enjoyable when it comes out. One that people can remember. Like, they won't say, oh my gosh, this release was so dog crap. No, they'd be like, oh, this release was pretty good. And maybe the game might be terrible mid-season, who knows. But they might reverse a few things that won't make people happy, but they'll remember that it was good, at least when it came out. And a lot of games sadly don't have that anymore. In their identity, they don't know what they are. They don't know if they're a crossover shooter, they don't know if they're a looter shooter, they don't know if they're future, they don't know if they're past, they don't know if they're present-based, they don't know what they are. Fortnite is the only one that knows what it is. And it's like, and that's sad to say, because everybody wants to diss on Fortnite. I'm just gonna say it now. Fortnite is not a terrible game. I may not. I'm not. I don't play it personally. I used to. Early Fortnite, I used to play it before Chapter 2. After Chapter 2 released, I stopped because just wasn't. I don't know. Just something clicked, and it was like, you know what? I don't really want to play this anymore. Probably because Warzone was out at that point, and I was like, you know what? I want to play some Warzone. I don't care about Fortnite. That's my battle royale. Still is to this day. So that's probably why. But Fortnite is not a bad game. They stick to what they are. They're a crossover shooter. They're also a. You can really do a lot of things on Fortnite. I literally watched a short film on Fortnite. It's like Roblox, just in third-person shooter form. Now, Roblox is another one, and I don't support Roblox for what they did to pedophiles or pedos. I don't support that crap. And what I don't know, Schlep. I think it's his name, Schlep, that YouTuber that was a vigilante, and he exposed all these these PDF files of these freaking pedos, and he got punished for that. Tells you what their real motives are, man, and it's sad because so a lot of my friends grew up playing Roblox. I didn't personally. I grew up playing Call of Duty, but as I got on Roblox, I was like, "Hey, this game's really fun." Oh, a pedophile. Pedophiles run this company, or at least pedophile supporters run this company. Maybe they're not intentionally supporting pedophiles because maybe it helps the profit. Another thing too, these scummy companies want to support evil people or the wrong people instead of their own consumer base that pay for their products. It's sad. It really is so sad. But I think I kind of talked a lot about what I need to today, and I think we need to get back to the end of the video. Let's close it out. That's going to do it for today's video. If you made it this far, I appreciate you watching. If you want to support the channel, like I said, I'm aiming for 500 subs by May 26th or 27th, 25th, in that range. No pressure, but subscribing helps a lot and lets me keep doing this consistently. Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like always. It helps the algorithm push my content to new people. So, and if you like what I do and you want to see more and you don't want to miss it, turn on the notification, hit that bell so you never miss future uploads. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.